Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I know the videos are a bit sparse, but we've got another gun today, and I've had this for a week or so. I've been playing about with it, and it is the Maxim Defense. Is it called the MDX? I always forget. MDX, PDX, SBR. VFC gas blowback rifle. Usually in the box. Let's set this a little bit better here. Everything comes packaged, so you'll have that spare. So you've got a speed loader with an adapter in there. Although there's adapters, I don't really rate them. The magazine normally comes in this plastic bag, and the reason why it's out of the packaging is because I was having a bit of a play with it and shooting it at a bit of range. But in here we have VFC's VMags, I think they call them. So it's a 30 round, looks like a PMag in the tan colour, the same magazine that comes with the KS1s. And we have the PDX, MDX, whatever it's called, as well. So let's get the box out the way here, and we'll talk about it. So I have shot this gun at range. I'll get into that a little bit in the video. And I did fancy one of these. And to be honest with you, I didn't want to buy another VFC. But because I know they feel great to shoot, they've got great triggers, but usually the barrel performance isn't great. And I actually I was speaking with Archwick, and I was seeing if they got any. They do a kit for the MWS that makes it look like this. It's very expensive, and I said to him in a message, I was like, have you got one in stock? Because I'd rather buy one and build an MWS out of one. If not, I'll have to pick up the VFC one. So he said he didn't really have any available, so I picked one up. So this was supplied. I say supplied. I purchased this from Red Wolf. It came through Red Wolf UK. So big thanks to them. They actually got it out really quick. I'm just going to take these stickers off here. So I tend to leave them on a little bit longer than they should be on there. And there we have it. Very, very futuristic looking M4-ish style rifle here. And it's a nice little compact rifle. I'm not the first person to take a look at this on camera, but we're going to see how we get through it today. So first of all, we're going to go through what it is and how it operates, and this, that, and the other. Then we're going to shove it through the chrono, and then I'm going to tell you about how I found it shooting it at a distance. So I'm just going to whack some gas in this mag. One thing I will say with this gun, when I first got it, so I picked it up, or it got delivered. I was driving down to HC2 anyway, so I thought, I'll take it with me. And out the box, this mag had a faulty valve. So what would happen was you'd charge it with the gas. It might happen today, we'll see. You charge it with gas, the valve would get stuck, so the gas would just come straight back out the valve again. I took apart this mag, which is why you'll see there's some scratch marks here, because the way these base plates come off are a bit of a pain. And ended up taking it apart 3 or 4 times, just trying to polish the valve. It was basically getting stuck, taking all the burrs off. And eventually I managed to get it to hold some gas. And then I was letting people on site shoot this thing. And there we go. So this mag out the box is faulty. And I have persevered with this thing. Let me just get rid of all the gas here. Let me just turn it upside down. I've persevered with this thing as much as possible. It needs a new valve, but for a gun that costs about £500, I'll be honest with you, it's the first magazine I've had from their M4 series that has done this. But no matter what I do to this valve, the valve just gets stuck in the magazine and nothing can get it to free up again, unless I can do it now. Then taking the mag apart and pulling the valve out. So this mag is poo-poo. Again, it's not something that normally happens on the magazines. The magazines are usually pretty good. It's the first one I've had. But again, an expensive rifle, you expect it to have valves that'll work. So I'm going to pop that to one side, and I'm going to find another magazine, so bear with me. Okay, so I managed to find the exact mag that it uses. Luckily, this one came with the KS1, so we're going to charge this up with some gas. I'm using green gas. I've tried this with a couple of cans of green gas, and even though these have the little O-rings to seal it, they do spit everywhere, which one of the common things with the propane adapters people moan about is the gas spitting out, but it happens with green gases as well, boys and girls. So now we've got it filled up with gas. Where's my adapter? We're going to put some rounds in it so it's ready to go when we get to the chrono. And we'll charge, single the BBs. The other mag as well, the one that came with the MDX, struggled to take more than like 20 rounds. It would bind up. Hopefully this one's better. So it's a gas blowback M4 style replica, modelled on the Maxim MDX. It's a short, very, very short rifle. You've got this PDW style stock on the back here. So you can press the tab here to pull it out like that and to close it. But if you give it a good pull as you first press it, it will actually extend all the way like that. You've got a Reptilia style grip here. I think someone mentioned in one of the last videos they saw one on the bench here, which is off my, there we go, off the KS1, because I replaced it with a Myad grip. Gas blowback, using their Evo system, so it's got the same hop system as the KS1. Which we know from that one. We've tried a bunch of things with that, and the gun, like I say, recoil wise feels great, external wise feels great, the trigger is amazing, but the gun's barrel performance is just hot garbage. So we'll put some rounds through this. Let's chrono it first, then I can show you it shooting on camera. So we've got 0.25s in the mag, 0.25s on the chrono. Let's see what it chronos at. I think it was a little bit warm when I first tested it, but we'll give it a go. It sounds lovely. And here we are, first shot on green gas. Oh, that's actually quite low. We'll do another reading. That might be an anomaly. Let's try again. 0.9, 0.3, 0.26. So for some reason on this mag it's chronoing really low. Wonder why that is. 0.9, 0.7, 0.9, 0.9, 0.8, 0.8, 0.8, and then 0.364. So it's kind of jumping all over the place. Now when I was using the other mag and I was shooting it through the chrono at HC2, I didn't get that. It was running about 1 to 1.2 joules. I'm going to dump the rest of the mag on auto and see how we do. It is a bit cooler today compared to it was the other day, so it did spit a bit of gas there. It's got quite a slow rate of fire, but it's very, very satisfying to use. Obviously the gun sounds amazing with the heavy spring, and it sounds very, very good indeed. But now the mag is indeed empty. Show you the blowback of this thing. So here we go. Nice strong recoil there. So it seems to be very gas efficient. This is something I noted on the first test that I did with it as well. I was managing to get 2.5 mags of BBs to the 1 fill of gas, and it just seems to chug along. It feels great to shoot. The recoil is very, very heavy for such a short throw bolt compared to like a normal one. There's a little bit more of a wackiness taking this thing apart because the bolt actually sits into the rear bolt section, and there's not really much we can do to sort of push that back to split the receiver. So we get, like I say, a Reptilia style grip, PDW stock. You've got this very aggressive styling, which Maxim do. We've got this lovely shortened handguard where you have M-lock slots. It did come with this sort of barricade stop thing, which I think is metal. QD points on the rail there. We've also got a QD point on the back here as well. So if you want to attach your slings, you can do that. Like I say, you can just rip the stock out and it's ready to go. And let's have a quick look inside this thing. So The unusual thing about this rifle that I noted was the flash hider itself has like a 1/4-inch style socket, and the way that these work is this outer shroud, I believe, doesn't move at all, so that sits in, and then you screw this in to secure it in place. So I'm going to have to grab a wrench for that in just a moment, but I'll show you splitting the receiver first. Now, I did have a couple of issues doing this the first time, so we'll see if we see that again. So let's pop this pin out. So we have to pop both pins out on this thing, the rear and the front, like that. And we actually have to lever it up like so and take the gun apart like that. You can't just split the back of the receiver on this thing. And the reason for that, if I pull the bolt out here, is because the buffer sort of sits in the rear of the bolt, and when it's in the receiver like that, you haven't really got space to put a tool in to push that out the way. And it's a similar system on guns that have really short buffer tubes, so it almost looks like a normal length buffer spring, but a very shortened buffer, and like I say, interfaces with the bolt there. VFC bolt, let's get the magnet out, let's test all the materials. These are generally steel, but this one is not. So there's a steel capture pin at the top here, and obviously steel screws as well. The buffer system, let's test that. So the buffer system is steel. It's got a weight inside as well, so you've got like a very, very hard rubber at the back here. That pin is sticking out ever so slightly, but then we've got a steel buffer, and it's got the weight in there as well. Obviously the spring. We can test the components on the lower here now. So we've got steel rails for the stock and all the attachments and buttons, the selectors. The trigger is not, it's aluminium. The bolt release is steel. I think the mag release itself, this side, is aluminium. Yep. Steel hammer, steel sears, and disconnector. Yeah, so that's all steel in there. Just an aluminium hammer there, and obviously steel pins for the receiver as well. So I did note this, that it is wearing on this here. It's probably just from the buffer tube itself, just rubbing up against it. Now in the bolt, I think there is a normal VFC style impasse in there. I can see a grub screw. So what you would do with this, you would take a 1.5mm Allen key. If I can interface it here, there we go. And the grub screw on the impasse is completely rounded. So I'm going to just make sure I'm getting that in place. Yeah, so the grub screw on this model is completely rounded. It should be a 1.5mm Allen key, but unless they've changed it and they've gone imperial, but I'm sure it's usually a 1.5. So like if I do end up keeping this, I'll probably just shove one of my impasses in there and just replace it. And so let's see, let me grab a tool and see if we can take this flash hider off, because it's a little bit of a funny sort of way of doing it. Right, so I believe this is what we need to extract this. So we can just shove this in the end. Yeah, there we go. And we want to tighten it to loosen it. It should be counterclockwise. There we go. So you will need a tool like this to take it apart. And then we spin the inner cone. This also makes the gun very loud when firing it. We unscrew this, it's counterclockwise, and then this is just like a piece that sits in, and this, as you tighten this all together, it just forces that onto there and sort of locks it all in place. Now you could chuck on a trace unit or a suppressor, anything you want to do like that. They did do another model that they were showing off at IWA, which the handguard didn't have this extension on the front, and it was all just flush. And it had a suppressor out the box, and I said to the guys, on the VFC stand. I thought, that looks amazing. When's that coming out? Only to learn that they're only doing it at the time being in like an electric gun. So obviously I just handed it back and I was like, yeah, I'm not interested. So there you go. I thought I'd just show you that's how you take it all apart. And then to put it back together, you just want to go the opposite way. Nice positive way of securing it. Just a little bit odd, something that we're not really used to. But nice that if you want to slap a tracer on there or a suppressor, you can do that and you can get a nice bit of torque on that. And it's not, if you try and spin this, you can't actually spin this to take it off, or I wasn't able to, because you have to spin the inner cone. There's the Evo hop unit. So you've got these little Allen screws, these grub screws that sit on either side. They hold the hop unit in place. If you remove those screws, you can actually extract this out the back. The hop adjustment is that screw that you see there. Now it will work with their tool that they sell. So it's the little red sort of tool that has the cogs inside it, so you can adjust it outside the gun. Adjusting mine, it made it a lot easier on the KS1, but the adjustment on the hop, to be honest with you, I really wasn't impressed with it, which is why I didn't want to buy another one. But you know, it's the cheapest model that you can get in gas. So to put this back together here, we're just going to put all these pieces back in, put the spring on there, take our magnet off, slide this in. Now you do have to be careful with this, because when I took it apart before, I basically did this, I slapped it back together and I could not pull the bolt back. So you just want to be mindful of that when putting it together. See, like that there, it's locked. It sort of locks itself and you can't draw the bolt back, and I think something must just be catching. I'm not entirely sure. Again, this gun is brand new to me. I think the way I did it when I was putting it back together was I kind of lined it up to a point where I could get the bolt back, and then I locked the bolt on the bolt release, and then I put the pins in. And then now it'll work. So every other time that I didn't do that and I just put the upper and the lower together, charger handle would lock and I just could not move the bolt. So there we go, the VFC MDX. Now you do have a similar fitment on the back here for the buffer tube. So what you would do is you'd use your ratchet, you can push it in the back there, and then you can tighten or loosen your buffer tube. It basically just uses, I think this is 1/4 inch socket to do that. So very, very cool. So if you like short rifles, if you love your gas stuff, if you love stuff that's a little bit more futuristic, I think it's going to be right up your street. It's very comfortable to hold. The handguard works really, really well. It's fairly solid. There's a tiniest bit of play in the upper and lower receiver, but nothing crazy. The fake gas tube on the gas block does rattle around and it is quite annoying, but you know, we can look past that for now. Like I said, the trigger on these things is extremely good. Very, very good, is what you'd expect from VFCs. And yeah, there we go. So I did shoot this at range. I was probably shooting not into a specific target. I was just seeing what the hot performance slot was like on 2.5s, because we were in a CQB environment. The range, I could shoot very far, so the hop performance was actually good. So I was using 2.5s. I hadn't adjusted the hop out of the box because I didn't have the tool with me. Again, that is one thing that really annoys me about the VFCs, especially with how expensive these guns are. Why can't they just throw that hop tool in, which makes all our lives easier? I think that should be something that should be included and not sold as an accessory, because doing it with an Allen key is a bit awkward and not the best, especially when you can't just split the receiver as normal and you've got to take it off that higgledy-piggledy way. So 40, it was well over 40-50 meters. It's obviously the length of their CQB area. I was running on the left-hand side because you can get through the alleyways. I was hitting the shutter door at the back end, so I was kind of running out of range. I probably could have needed a little bit more hop, but the performance was there, so the rounds were going. Every now and again, I'd get a round that would just literally fall out the barrel, or like would only go like 10-20 meters, and that was kind of off-putting. And the other thing was the grouping at distance. So the shutter door, I'm not sure how wide shutter doors normally are. I'm probably going to say like 4 or 5 meters. As I was shooting this shutter door, the grouping was anything from the right hand side to the left side door, so it was a good like 5 meter grouping at that distance. Obviously it's a short barrel, we're not really, you know, pushing for long super accurate range, but the hop was just that inconsistent that I was like, yeah, this isn't going to be a performer. So I know people like to jump on the bandwagon and say I hate VFCs, and to them, I own more VFCs than you do. You know, I own a lot of VFC rifles. I think criticism should be mentioned where it is, you know, fair. So gas efficiency out of this thing, really, really good. The recoil out of this thing, really good. The trigger is good. I do like VFC's mag infrastructure. The magazines tend to be pretty damn good. I do prefer the Stanags, actually, I think. They're a lot sleeker. They go in pouches a bit easier. If you ever picked up one of these VFC P-mags, you'll notice that they're always really rough. They feel really rough. But that's just a personal preference thing. The downside to these things are the hop system really lets them down. I'm not sure why VFC can't master the hop system in their M4 lineups. Like the KS1's exactly the same. I've tried the quad bookings or the 4UAD ones, everyone says that works well. I tried that didn't work all well in the KS1, and then I spoke to a couple of people that I talked to that are in Germany, and they said no, the 4UAD isn't really recommended. They're actually using flamingos, which I found was quite surprising. So I'll have to look into that. We'll have to see if we can do anything better with the hop system, but that really to me is where VFC lacks. And it's not that they can't do it. The VFC MP9, the VFC SPC9, the VFC MPX, the VFC APC9, the VFC... What was the other one? I've got tons of VFCs. All the SMGs seem to do really, really well. The hop systems in them are just really good. Why they can't do it with their M4 platforms... And, you know, you can say, well, you've had another lemon. Like, how many lemons should I have had by now? And I've tried fitting in the older VFCs, M4s that I've got. I've tried fitting the 4UAD hop chambers. To be honest with you, it really didn't improve all that much. So I'm at a loss with VFC platforms. I know I've got MWS's pattern down where I know I can just put in certain upgrades and get outstanding performance out of them. And I know people don't like it when I compare the VFCs to the MWS platforms, but all of my double eagles, they won't have as nice triggers, they won't have as heavy recoil, but all the double eagles I have, or the MWSs I have, out the box, the hot performance is just far better than any VFC M4 that I've tried. But I'm not writing it off. I still have my KS1. You know, people like to talk shit about me on the internet saying I hate VFCs. I've still got my KS1, which is what the grip's off because I changed it out. And this gun feels great. The trigger on it is absolutely great. You'll see I've got a 4UAD rubber in there. The way this thing feels to shoot is absolutely phenomenal. I just can't hit the broadside of a barn door at a distance. The accuracy just really is bad. Now, I have been playing around. I've got 2 VFC AKs and they look very promising. I haven't shot them at range yet, but people are telling me that they're phenomenal. And I do believe them because their AKs, I'm always like being, you know, Marui guy. I love my Marui AKs, but I honestly think the VFC AKs are better than the Maruis. But it all depends on what happens when we go to like a range test and see what the accuracy is like. So people rave about these VFC M4s and, you know, they're fantastic at range, and I just don't see it. I don't know whether the standards that you shoot to or the accuracy and the groupings that you shoot to are much lower than what my standards are, but I just don't see it. So if someone has in the comments down below a good suggestion for a hop and barrel combo to put in these guns to get them shooting really, really good, hit me up in the comments down below, let me know, and I'll try it and I'll share my results. So we're going to get to the range test soon and you will see what I'm talking about. But for now, obviously that's going to be a little bit down the line. It's not quite ready yet. For now, thank you very much for tuning in. I really do. This thing is really cool to play with. Like, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but the recoil of this thing and how it shoots and the full auto are just so enjoyable. It's a really enjoyable gun to shoot. I just wish they performed a little bit better out the inner barrels. So Thanks for tuning as always. Let me know what you think about this MDX. Do you like the funky style of it? Do you hate it? Now I've bought this one, they'll probably release the one that comes with the suppressor, which is the one I wanted, but hey ho, it's just the way it goes. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. You can join the Jaeger Precision Discord community where we have MWS and VFC lovers in that community, and everyone generally gets on very, very well. People have their opinions and stuff, and no one gets butthurt like the rest of the people on the internet, so it's a really nice place to be. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for supporting the channel. A like and subscribe goes a long way if you haven't already. But for now, from me and Bench, we'll be seeing you in the next one.